All right, hello and welcome back. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be talking about creation or composition versus improvisation. Because what happens a lot is once players start going down this road that you're doing right now, they start thinking that everything needs to be improvised, like you're always improvising. And the truth is, there's got to be some element of understanding composition versus just improving everything that you do. And you have to kind of decide where you want to be inside this. So what I'm going to do is tell you a quick little story, and then I'm going to show you a little bit about composition, and then you can use this backing track to try and explore some ideas as well. When I was growing up in the 70s, and so I was a big fan of, Kiss and Ted Nugent and Aerosmith and all these different bands. But I think Alice Cooper, Kansas, Rush, whatever. But I think the biggest of all of those was Kiss, simply because they were kind of like, at that time I was a little kid and I had the Kiss dolls and I had the Kiss posters and they were larger than life, right? And I never got to see them with the makeup on when I was a little kid. They came to Grand Forks one time when I was really young, but my mom wouldn't let me go, which was probably a good idea on her part. But anyway, when they got back together, they did a reunion tour in whatever it was, 96 or 97. I think it was 96. And so I was super stoked, right, to go see Kiss. Now, please understand, up until this point, I'd learned a billion Kiss songs. I had bootlegs, all this stuff. But I'd never really put two and two together. So I am picking on Kiss just a little bit. Not that I don't still think that they're amazing, because I do. But I went and saw them the first time on this reunion tour, and then I wound up seeing them, 8 or 9 times on this tour. And what struck me, even though I'd seen bootleg videos and things like that, is how the moves were the same in certain spots, right? And the solos were the same, and it was like going to a movie. It was like seeing The Exorcist for the 17th time, right? Nothing changes. It's the same thing. Where I remember seeing like Ted Nugent, and Ted would be all over the place, man. He was all over doing all kinds of stuff. And so in my mind, I started kind of realizing that as much as I love Kiss, what makes Kiss so great, in my mind, is the songs that they formulate. They don't really have... Paul Stanley's not going to go out and do some crazy blues solo over the top of some song. That isn't his forte. His forte is songwriting, right? And the solos sing. So even though Ace Frehley certainly could do whatever he wanted with the songs, he kept the solos memorable because that's what made the song the song. So when you heard the solo to Cold Gin, or you heard the song solo to whatever, it was the same. Where Ted, on the other hand, or let's even go further out, let's say, Steve Vai or something like that, there are songs where they're going to keep the structure very similar, but then there's songs where they're going to go off and just do whatever they want. So you have bands, whether it be, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but if you're thinking REM or you're thinking, who knows what it is, but I think those songs are going to be pretty much the song, right? That's what they're going to be. Where there are other artists out there where they probably never play, like Slash, he plays a lot of different things. So here's my point, is that if you think about this on the extreme left and the extreme right, depending on how you're seeing my hands here, the extreme one side and the extreme other side, right? One side is purely written, right? When you play Detroit Rock City, the solo is the solo. And if you don't play that solo, it's going to sound weird because that's what everybody's expecting. On the other extreme is complete improvisation, right? It's a Joe Bonamassa tune and it's in the middle, or, whatever it is. It's Tush by ZZ Top and you're just doing your own thing, right? You're not doing the solo. You're just going off on your own. And then there's the middle, the middle is really kind of a compilation, or a combination, I should say, of writing and improvisation. And the reason I want you to think about this is because so many players set themselves up for failure because they always think like they're supposed to go up on stage and have no idea what they're going to do and then succeed. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to do, but you can prepare by either writing something or learning the solo as is, or learning the solo but then doing your own thing to it, right? Or if you're writing a solo for your own song or whatever it is that you're doing, you might write certain parts. I always call it plotting points. That's what I tell people about, is plotting points to me are in this solo, I've got a directive, right? I'm going to go here, or I'm going to do this, or whatever it might be. I don't have the whole solo planned out, but I've got ideas in there of where I'm going to go in the middle or at the end or whatever that might be useful to me. So please understand that one isn't better than the other. And it's very important to understand that. We always, I certainly always used to put a higher regard to improvisation because it's harder to do. And that's true. It is harder to do. But the problem with always relying on complete improvisation is you're missing out on opportunities to write some really great stuff in there that is memorable. If you thought about it, if the drummer just improvised the whole time and the guitar player just improvised the whole time and the singer just improvised the whole time, you'd wind up with a mess, right? So your song does have structure already. So you can't just think about it as, well, your solo should not have any structure because we're just improvising. So what I want to do, if that kind of makes sense, what I want to do is I want to give you an opportunity to use a jam track and practice both composition and improvisation with it.